today we finally solved the mystery of what would a priest want to stick up our butts. We're throwing chairs at Lucius II, or Lucius II. It's from Shiver Games, built on the Unity engine for around $20 or 20 local currencies. And what is it? The story of Lucius II continues right where the original Lucius left off, where you can't play it under Linux. Lucius emerges from the lone survivor of the burning wreckage of his parents' once called home, unscathed from the ruthless slaughter that he had unleashed. In short, it's Antichrist Simulator. You run around, kill some people in Rube Goldberg-esque methods. It's good stuff. Faces the CHAIRQUISITION. Can the devil survive the holiness that is the chairs? One chair means that it's garbage. Two chairs means that it's meh. Three chairs means that it's pretty good. And four chairs means that's amaze balls. We also got a categories of doom mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. If you haven't seen one of these CHAIRQUISITIONs before, I don't blame you. Let's kick this off then. Did it make with the working?
Over here in Vinland on the Ubuntu 1404 LTS 980 powered 4K displayed octo-core box of business. Well, let's just go ahead and say this, Brad. This critter genuinely struggles to hit 50 FERPs at 1080p on high. There is something above high, but it's a bit useless, and so you can completely forget about playing it at 2160, aka 4K. Two of us here, we have 4K monitors, we have 980s, and it's really not that playable, because if you kick it up to that resolution, you get between 19 and 20 FERPs. Then again, I only have a 8150 overclocked to 4.0 gigajoules with the 980, and I'm guessing that people with Skylake CPUs do not have such an issue. So I kind of got to give it 3 chairs, Brad.
Well, you know, Ven, you would have lost that bet.
Oh, man.
I mean, at 4K, you get the ultra cinematic 24 frames a second. If you knock that down to 1080p on their max graphical settings, you get around 37 at most at 1080 on an i7 6700K. Again, with a GTX 980. I didn't understand, Captain. I'm giving it all I can, and she runs like shit. But, you know, you start it up, and it does run. It doesn't show you the Unity screaming of nope, despite it being a Unity game. So, I mean, it gets 3 chairs on that regard. It's not going to get it anywhere else.
It works, I guess, on the Fedora 23 FX 8370E overclocked at 4.2 gigahertz with the GTX 970 Strix from Asus. It works. I had to put the graphics up to mental. That's literally what the game calls it. Otherwise, I'd get texture flickering all over the place. The FERPs, while in game, go anywhere from like 30 to 80 in 1 second. It's like you're walking down a hallway. Yeah, we're having some 80-something FERPs. The moment you turn into the door, 30. No, we're having none of that. And it's so bad, like that variance is so bad that it actually affects the game's physics. Like NPCs will start walking slowly when the frame rate dips. It's really bad. So it gets 2 chairs from me.
All right, so that is 2 whole chairs to mix with the working. Up next is the shiny and the sounds. Ven, how are those dongs beautifully rendered? You tell me.
Wrap your mind around it, ladies and gentlemen. 15 FERPs for the cutscenes. I mean, you gotta wonder, did the developers actually test this on Linux? I mean, you get like 3 ways of looking at this. Either they just hit export and have at. They tested on Linux, and they said, oh, that's complete shit. Ship it. Or they're just like, yeah, actually, Satan. I mean, maybe Satan shipped this.
My money's either on the first or the third one.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
that guy owes me $5 anyways. So.
And the biggest reason is because the game constantly launches with what you will see as cutscenes. It's like story narrative for this game. That usually ranges somewhere between 15 and 24 FERPs. It's kind of fucking miserable because you're just like, I want to learn the story bits and all that. But when it comes to graphics, you do have the standard Unity slide bar of graphical asshattery, which is a visual representation of the Unity screen of Nope. You know, that little pop-up screen is like, do you want good, ultra, beautiful, impossible, and all that? However, anything below high will look full metal N64 quality. Yes, please, sir. Could I bother you for a cup of anti-aliasing? Seriously, yes. This is coming from Captain I'm okay with the Jaggies. I mean, I'm kind of good with that. It was so jaggy. I was like, just give me something. And then there's the Cox. We can't show this because this is a family-friendly show, and L.G.C cares and all that.
Manson family-friendly, am I right?
But there's quite a discoverable cock mechanisms in this, and there's a whole other Doctor Who episode available. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to call this game fugly. But even on high, it is kind of a bit meh. Meh without the ability to rub some Vaseline on the lens organs. Now, when we come to the sounds, they're intermittent and annoying. Listening to a defib charge on loop. Not necessarily my idea of a good time, but fortunately that is broken up when the game randomly decides to play background music, because that's just whenever it fucking feels like it. But you gotta mix all that in with the subpar noises made by the people that you kill to death. And you're gonna end up with those two chairs.
So many graphical issues. This game has problems trying to shadow, especially in the tutorial. You go into like the flaming hellscape, and there are just like blank black polygons just missing. Oh, that's supposed to be shadow. We can't render that. That's too advanced. The models look like they belong in an early Xbox 360 game. The small objects look like they belong on a PlayStation game. It's like if you are able to inspect something up close, it looks like shit. I mean, the voice acting is all right. Pedro will go on about the inconsistencies, but at least, you know, the people sound like they actually knew their lines before reading them. The opening cinematic, it's really, really nice that they outsourced that animation to Canada, because those people have flappy fucking heads. And that brings us to the sound design. Like Ven said, you get random fucking sounds that pop up everywhere. Defibrillators, radios. There's that one mental patient who keeps going, like at the beginning of that one Anthrax album. It's super annoying because it's just like, shut up. Really annoying. The music is just kind of there. The radio will just start randomly playing, and I could not for the life of me tell you what that song was, because it doesn't really, you ignore it. It doesn't matter. That's not the hallmark of good sound design. Good sound design is like Alien Isolation, that makes you constantly fucking paranoid. Yep. So wrapping this up, this gets 2 chairs because at least it worked. Poorly.
Unholy graphical glitches, Blad Man. Yeah, it's
Flat
pretty
man?
bad. It's
racist.
It's Jordan already said it. It's like during the tutorial, if you look at a certain object in a certain angle, there'll just be a whole bunch of black pixels all around it because the game just can't fucking render it. But then you slightly twitch the mouse to either side and hey, there it is. Yeah. And while the voice actors seem to know what their lines were, it's very clear that they were all in different rooms and using different microphones when they were recording their lines. The very first dude that kind of mumbles some stuff on the very first level when you walk into his room, I had to mute everything else from background noise, music, whatever. Otherwise, I could not, for the life of me, make out what the hell he was saying. The paper cutout cutscenes, like Jordan already mentioned, they were great until they started to attempt to do lip sync. It doesn't work. I mean, South Park looks competent at that point. So it gets 2 chairs from me.
All right, that's 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control, and I've apparently gone full bit of foot again. So, Ven, why don't you
Once you do that, it's alright. But unfortunately, sorting the controls so you can play it with the keyboard in your gerbil allows you to use them. And apparently the Devil's Son is made of Teflon and Parkinson's. I mean, I'm sorry. That is an insult to anyone with Parkinson's disease. They control better than this game does. I guarantee
Sick
it.
burn.
Michael J. Fox would like a word
You
with
can forget about doing anything that remotely requires precision or anything along those lines. Press E to drag should be renamed to press E to imprint upon a young chick, because it will follow you around. And you're just like, I am not your father. Leave me alone. And
You're not my real dad.
It's just quite a bit of a mess. So I'm going to give that 2 chairs, son.
Oh yeah, I ran into that issue with the controller that Ven mentioned, except I couldn't get it to go away, so I had to play the entire thing on the Steam controller, which the default bindings for the Xbox 360 controller on there make absolutely fuck all sense. I spent about 30 minutes trying to get something workable. In short, you gotta remap the throw button to the right trigger, switch the touchpad mode to mouse joystick, and keep the sensitivity on medium in game. And it's actually playable with the Steam controller. It's a little difficult when it comes to precision stuff. I'll get to the whole the defibrillator tag in the fun section. But I mean, yeah, this entire thing is a mess. Key bindings don't work. The mouse goes all Michael J. Fox. I actually restarted my computer to ensure that there were no controllers actually detected by the operating system, and I still got the herky jerk. That's pretty bad, but at least it's playable, so it gets 2 chairs. If it just didn't work out right, it would have gotten 1. So
Yeah, I didn't run into that issue that both Ven and Jordan did, nor did I have to disable the shield controller, which was plugged into the PC the whole time that I was playing this game. What I did have to wrestle with was the camera controls. The camera gets caught on the strangest parts of the scenery and the wandering NPCs, which means, more often than not, you'll get some serious jerkiness, and it's just generally horrible to look at. If you have epilepsy, do not, and I repeat, do not play this game, because the camera will go from a brightly lit area to like the darkness of a cell, because you're looking in a certain angle and the door to the cell is right there and the camera clips through it. It's not pretty. It's really not pretty. So it gets 3 chairs from me on a technicality, because I didn't have that issue that both Ben and Jordan did.
all right, so that's 2 chairs for the controls, and finally we got the funds. Ben, you played 6 hours. You played 7 hours of this game.
I
so-
did, Brad, I did. And you absolutely must. If you're psychotic enough to pick this up, even on sale, you must power through the useless tutorial, since there's a semi-functional game hiding behind it. But we do need to address a few things. I mean, you genuinely heal by flushing toilets.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you do.
And the save states, luck of the fuck mothering draw. Well, you know, my last save state where I couldn't find some keys, I think Jordan will bring up the same type of event. And I respawned and all the NPCs were back, but I'd used everything to kill them all to death. And I was like, okay, how do I finish this? And I finally just had to revert. But speaking of those NPCs, I genuinely believe they tried to put them on rails, but they completely flipped the fuck out. And it was like, all right, AI, yeah, we're calling it that. And to quote from the game, quote unquote, create your truly own unique traps by using complex combination systems and various tools.
Yeah, these people can't English very well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. Not with your busted-ass control system, son. More often than not, you will end up shock fishing. This is what I've named it. That's where you're holding out a charged defib paddle, and, you know, just you leave your character there and you nip out to the kitchen, the living room, whatever. Then you just, crank everything up. And it's like, bzzz, and it's like, oh, I got one. And you come back in and you deal with that. That said, you can genuinely kind of tell that they really wanted to pull off something quite neat. Just look at the attention to detail, the graphical fidelity in the first room. Take a long, hard look, because that's the only time you will ever see it in this entire fucking game, is that first room. I made it to the town, and it's kind of like the halfway point in the game, and it's busted. It cannot hit over 30 FERPs, and it suffers the Doctor Who blocks, graphical glitches, and all that. And this is full metal bird culture, aka a dick move, since I'm now 7 now, in the game, and it's effectively unplayable, non-refundable. However, this is the point where I normally say something complimentary about the game. So, let me have a go. I fully understand that the developers are actively attempting to sort the busted pile of nope. Even last Thursday, they made an update. But until they overhaul the graphics, fix the physics, sort the controls, improve the performance, hammer out the graphical glitches, and make saving reliable, you might do a better to go and play in traffic than buy this fucking game. That's kind of all I gotta say about that. So can you imagine this, one chair?
Seriously, toilets. Like, you go to the men's room to recover health, and you go to the ladies' room to recover mana. You don't get them at the same time. You always have to go to the two separate toilets.
That's sexist.
Which just completely boggles my mind. The AI is just so busted in this. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, a door. I don't understand this door technology. Oh, where was I? I'm gonna keep walking. Yeah. I actually ran into a game-breaking bug in the first hospital level.
Yep.
You see, I went and killed everyone on that floor, all the mental patients, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the security guards. And apparently a set of keys didn't spawn. I actually spent the better part of an hour doing the gone home thing of picking up all the items that I could find, sticking them in a room, flushing, like dropping all the dead bodies down an elevator shaft so that there was no way in hell that I could miss the keys if they were there. Nothing. They did not spawn. I actually went and looked up a walkthrough. I'm like, okay, how do I get the keys to free your little partner dude from his cell? Oh, you just killed that guy? I fucking killed him. There was no keys. What the hell? And at that point, I'd actually have to go restart the game to pick up. So I'm like, all right, I'm not that far into the game. And then I got hit with the tutorial again, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I get what this game is trying to do. It is actually a very neat concept. I don't think I've ever seen it approached in games before. But the game is just busted to the point of unplayability. The controls don't work. The graphics are just completely fucked. I threw a pill bottle once and it hung in midair. And when I went to take a screenshot of it, then the physics kicked in and they're like, nope, no, we don't let you capture that kind of fuckery. It gets some points for originality, but effort just doesn't cut it in the CHAIRQUISITION. It's do or die, one chair.
Yeah, I hate these kinds of games. It's not the genre and it's not the premise. You're playing as the son of the devil. That's great. It's a game. It's basically a Rube Goldberg machine. Whatever. It's basically a Rube Goldberg machine with semi-human interaction. That's fine. I don't mind that. I just hate mediocre games. You can rail on this game for its technical shortcomings, poor optimization, shitty voice acting, and the awful camera controls, but the game itself is competent enough to work. It's just nothing spectacular to be, worthy of praise in any way. I didn't like the game, but I didn't exactly hate it either. What I hate is that I can't effectively criticize it without seeming like I'm picking at the nits. It's that kind of game. It's nothing to write home about, but it's nothing to hate on about, and I hate that. I really do. It's the conundrum that is Pedro Mateos. So 1 chair for me.
All right, that's a 1 chair for fun. And if we total this mess, this nightmare fuel up, we get 1 chair for the total score. Then, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I mean, these lot actually made killing people to death boring. Yes, Brad. Yes, you did. And, you know, I like some sick-ass humor. Come on, this is Linux Gamecast, really? But look at some of the fucking achievements. There's an MJ achievement if you touch 4 children. Like, you know...
YOLO swag, bitch.
I'm just saying... I got a line at some fucking point, and I was like, guys, I mean, I understand you're trying to be humorous, but... Not cool. Not cool.
Yeah, and it's not that it was boring, it's that the whole game felt like a chore. When I'm playing a video game, I don't want it to feel like a chore. If I want to do chores, I'll just get up and do chores.
You'll just listen to Nori, yes.
Oh! It's totally looking to listen to this review,
I have to do the dishes, I have to do everything else. It's just, if I want to play a game, I want some escapism, and this game does not provide it. It's a fucking chore. No, do not get this game.
And again, like I said, I see what this game is trying to do, but the core mechanics are not very well implemented. All the text that describes how the various items interact is super fucking tiny. You have to go up and squint your eyes on a 1080p monitor. Designing the Rube Goldberg machines are not really that interactive. Oh, this thing goes there and then it explodes.
Well, that's one of the things that genuinely pissed me off. I mean, I was looking at this, like, you can create these elaborate traps, and I was like, no, you can't.
No, you move the nitrous bottles in front of them, and then you light them on fire.
You're going to nuke people with those bottles, you're going to nuke them with a fishing defibrillator, or you're going to poison them with a nope sandwich, and that's fucking it. And I am so sick of fucking developers. I mean, like I said, when we started this off, they either did not test this, because by the time you get to chapter 3, the game is completely unplayable. On a 980, it cannot sustain 30 frames per second.
On an i7 with a 980, it can. That's even worse, because this is supposed to be the standard platform that you fuckers are developing for. Again, it's... You get points for effort, but if you can polish this turd to the point where it's playable, I will totally give this another shot. Because I totally get what you're doing. It's an interesting gameplay mechanic. But
it's what Fen said. That they don't get any points for effort because they didn't put any fucking effort in. Yeah. As far as the whole game is concerned, they just clicked export when it came to the Linux version.
They've just been waiting for an L.G.C train of fuck-mothering honesty to roll by and go, yeah, we got some really high-end systems, and your game's a piece of shit, son.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Son of Stan, this is